He rejected a 4-year plea deal and demanded to represent himself. But the judge warned him that going alone could turn his case into a disaster.
Mr. Smith, this is Nasira Brown. All right, this is cause numbers 26 DCCR 0322 and 0323. And you're Nasir Brown? Are you going to answer out loud or no?
Sorry, I'm just going through some things right now.
Okay, so I just need to make sure, obviously I recognize you from being here before. I'm also going to take judicial notice of the court's file, and including a letter that you wrote to the court. In that letter, it does state from you that you were REL or REI, I can't read it, but anyway, Nasir Lewis Brown. So you're telling me that at one point in this letter you were Nasir Brown, and so Mr. Rojas, what is the announcement?
Judge, Mr. Brown has told me on 2 different occasions now that he does not want a court-appointed attorney. He wants to represent himself, and I think he wants to address the court about that this morning.
I go by Mujahid Bey. That's the
fine.
name. That's actually who I go by.
That's fine.
Nasir Brown is a thing of the past.
Well, and here's the thing: unless you've changed your name, and I'm going to respect that that's what you want to be called, and that's what you have.
That's what they want.
And that's who you are, but that if you have not changed your name legally, then I have to go by that legal documentation in the state of Texas, which is driver's license, identification cards, and what you were previously known as. So let's just get past what I'm calling you, and let's deal with what the cases are and what we need to do about those, okay? So for purposes of what you want to do in the future, what Mr. Rojas is saying, that you want to represent yourself, I want to admonish you to a few things and then ask you some questions about that also. The first thing I'm going to tell you is that representing yourself is a terrible, terrible idea, because you will be required in any proceeding to know all of the rules and everything, just like the lawyers. You have to follow the rules of evidence, the rules of Texas evidence, the rules of Texas criminal procedure. Whether you think they apply to you or not, they're going to apply in this court. So what happens is, if you get in front of me, it's one thing. We can have this little bit of patience, and I'm going to go, but you get a jury in there, and if you want a jury trial and you want to present a case to a jury and you're not doing it right, it's just going to get worse for you. I'm going to have to shut you down. I'm going to have to not let you enter certain documents in if you don't know how to do it properly. You're not going to be able to question certain witnesses if you're not doing it properly. So it's really, really a terrible idea to represent yourself. If you insist on that, I can go through some questions, but I'm assuming, am I correct that you don't have any formal legal training? Have you ever been to a school or any kind of legal training?
Yeah.
Okay, so then am I right to say that you don't know what those rules are and how to pick a jury or enter in evidence certain items at a trial and things like that, correct?
Not cool.
You do know how to do that?
To a degree, yes, I do know.
So you would know how to properly, under Texas law, pick a jury and go to trial. I'm going to tell you this. I didn't even know how to do it when I graduated law school. There's no way you know how to do that. And I'm telling you this for your own good. It takes practice, and it takes sitting with people and learning and going to school to be able to really represent someone. I, as an attorney, and I bet these attorneys will tell you the same, if they were in trouble, wouldn't represent themselves. One of the first things we're taught in school, I was taught, don't ever think, if you represent yourself, you have a fool for a client. That's what our professors told us. Because you're not able to represent yourself even as an attorney. You should get another attorney. So I really, really strongly recommend that you let Mr. Rojas help you. Mr. Rojas is a great attorney. He understands this process. He has a good relationship with the district attorney's office. He will either get you the best deal, or if you want to go to trial, we'll get you an attorney, Mr. Rojas or someone else, that can take your case to trial. So if you want to go to trial, the first thing you have to do is reject a plea offer. So if Mr. Smith has made an offer, then you need to sign something that says, I don't want that, I want to go to trial. Mr. Rojas can get that this morning. It's not committing you to anything other than saying, I don't want to take that deal, I want to go to trial. I need that in my file so that I know why we're in trial. Does that make sense? So I need you to sign that rejection, and then we'll get your case set for trial, and we can talk about representation, whether or not it'll be Mr. Rojas or whether it'll be someone else who can get ready for trial as well. Okay? So y'all go sign that, and then I'll go over everything with you in just a minute. So we can discuss. There he is. All right, we're back on the record, and cause numbers 26 DCCR 0322 and 0323. And so in cause number 0322, you are charged with the third-degree felony offense of assault family violence by impeding breath or circulation. That's from February 16th of 2026. What that means is that if you go to trial in that case and a jury finds you guilty, the range of punishment could be between 2 years and up to 10 years in prison. Do you understand at least the range of punishment and what could happen if you go to trial and you're found guilty?
Understand.
Okay. And then in cause number 26 DCCR 0323, you're charged with the state jail felony offense of injury to a child, and that's from February 16th of 2026. And in that case, what that means is that if you go to trial and you're found guilty, the range of punishment is between 6 months and up to 2 years in a state jail prison. And do you understand that as well?
Understand.
And so I have here on the tablet those plea bargain rejections that we talked about that you've signed now with Mr. Rojas. And it looks like the district attorney's office has made offers if you wanted to enter pleas of guilty. In that first case, it would be for a 4-year term in prison. And then in the state jail injury to a child case, it would be 12 months in the state jail. And those would run concurrently, which means together at the same time. You've got every right to reject those offers and have your cases set for trial. Just want to go through this and make sure you do understand all of that. And you want to reject those offers and move towards a trial. Is that correct? All right, and so we'll get that done. And so Mr. Rojas is your attorney at this point. He's been appointed. Mr. Rojas can move forward with your trials, or because he handles a lot of cases for me as a court-appointed attorney, I can replace him today with a different attorney who could begin preparation for trial a little quicker. Is that okay with you, or do you want to keep Mr. Rojas?
I still want to represent myself.
Well, I understand that. So let's at least for this, if you'll indulge me at least for the beginning, so that you can take a look at all of the evidence some more with either Mr. Rojas or another attorney. Can I leave an attorney on at least till we get a little closer to trial, and then let's talk about if you really want to represent yourself when it gets closer?
Well, the question that I asked Mr. Rojas is not even answering. He's not even giving me any information that I'm seeking, like a discovery.
Right. So, well, I'm sure Mr. Rojas is relaying to you everything he can. You're not entitled to get copies of everything by law in Texas. And so he will give you copies, or whoever your attorney is will give you copies of what they can give you. Anything else they can go over with you, explain it, let you read it, but they cannot leave copies with you. So again, do you want me to appoint a different attorney and you can visit with them about your case instead of Mr. Rojas?
Is it true that you have a grand jury indictment without the person being present?
Yes.
Is that considered a waiver of your grand jury, or is it
considered a what?
a waiver?
No. It's just how the process works.
Well, that can give me a difference, right?
All right, so Mr. Rojas will be released. We'll appoint someone today. They should be out to see you very soon to go over everything and begin preparation for trial with you. Okay?
You got a name,
I don't know who it's going to be yet. We have a list of attorneys. We'll figure that the clerk will figure out who's next on our list, and we'll have that done today after docket when she has some time to look at that. And so we'll let them know that you're waiting to see them. They'll be out very soon to go over everything. All right. You can go back with the bailiff. Thank you.